At BASF, we integrate our production units so that the product from one is raw material for another, saves a lot of transportation costs, infrastructure costs. Also byproducts, waste material that normally would be spun off as waste. We also take that, build plants to take that waste and make a product out of it. A good example is the waste from a cyclohexanone oxidation plant being used to produce a hexanediol sellable product. So we had so many control charts that when we started learning about how to really do SPC, we did a calculation and found that we were actually going to have, because of the number of data points that we were gathering in control charts, we were going to have every day about 4 or 5 false alarms. Which meant if we were really analyzing these charts, we were going to be chasing our tail every day. And so we had a real problem with that. So by the end of SPC, you see here we felt like we were drowning in control charts. And so we went to STAT, and this grew out of the sheer frustration, I guess, at that time on my part, of the number of control charts and the lack of results from them. So we focused particularly in one particular plant. This is where I worked, hydroxylamines, the only area I had really responsibility for, so I could do this at the time. We set together a cross-functional team composed of engineers, chemists, and plant technicians. And then we had set them a key objective, and that was, number one, become an expert applying statistical measures for process improvement and use that knowledge to improve our plant. And it was here where we actually became introduced to MVT. And I can still remember we sent people on this team to various courses to learn about statistics and SPC primarily and how to use that properly. And one of those courses was offered by QualPro. And in that course, a statement was made which really we found very profound. And this is, I believe, Tom Hines brought this back. Basically, 10% of process improvements come through SPC, and 90% comes from breakthroughs uncovered by MVT. And this was really incredible. This meant we didn't have to be vultures anymore. We could actually go out and probe our plant to try to find improvements. And this was quite nice. We tried it out. The first 2 tests worked. We saved, I guess, about $7 million. This is a lot of Tom's handiwork at BASF from 1994 to 1997 and helping us lead the improvement efforts. The first 2 there you see, $1 million for ammonia burner optimization, $6 million for an oxidation debottleneck. Quite a significant effort. You see through 97 was 36 million. So when you combine our SPO efforts with the MVT results we were getting from our efforts in cooperation with QualPro, we were making lots of money for us. Next thing that approached us was Six Sigma. This came about for a number of reasons. First of all, our reengineering effort was focused primarily on fixed cost, and we recognized at that time that variable cost was also a key part, and really the reengineering effort wasn't tackling that. But Six Sigma was a way to deal with that. And that was brought about through our business contacts, which we had with GE. And so all of a sudden, Six Sigma was coming into our organization. And a big discussion erupted in BASF as to, okay, which way should we go? Should we all do Six Sigma? So we at Freeport decided to do a comparison. And I'll show you some of the results of that. The similarities are interesting. They both use a statistical approach. It's a very focused methodology. The results have been proven. We actually had good results with QualPro. But there were some differences, and for us they were significant differences. One is we felt like QualPro was less complex, a little simpler to implement. We felt like it didn't require a black belt or a site expert. We could leverage the experience that QualPro had. You know, it's one thing, as I said, to be trained and to have a lot of experience, but to have a wide variety of experience where you can draw on that experience is difficult for one site to have. And the advantage that you get with QualPro is you get somebody's talent who's been a lot of different places and seen a lot of different applications of the technique, and that's very valuable. It offered more team involvement. This was critical to us. We wanted to make sure that our technicians stayed involved, and we felt like this was a key difference. So the end result was both Six Sigma and QualPro were very effective. They both could work, but we found QualPro to be a better fit for our particular culture. So, what have we achieved? In 2001, this shows the process improvement projects we carried out, and total savings in the bank, $4.2 million. $870,000 in avoided capital. 2002, we see $8.5 million was identified as potential savings. This shows a history of our MVT savings. It's a quite interesting chart, actually. You see how it went up in 94, 96, 97, it came back down. And you see there's no savings between 98, 99, 2000, and then it picks back up again. And I think it's a good demonstration of what happens when management doesn't constantly emphasize and drive the improvement process. If you back off, the results back off. Because there's too many things that are eating everybody's lunch. Management's got to set the priorities. That's not to say we weren't improving things. We were doing it in other areas, in other ways. But as far as MVT results, you can see that they fell off. But see, cumulative since 94, about 47 million. I should add that we took $8 million out of it because we shut down a plant. But we shut down that plant because our process development leader was using MVT in experiments he was doing on a pilot plant, which actually allowed us to install equipment at one plant, which essentially negated the need for the other. So it was really a nice result there. Bear in mind that the Six Sigma effort that was going on at the site that I was looking at was rather young. I would say maybe 6 to 9 months. Their savings in their projects were of a much smaller size, magnitude. They were like 50,000, 80,000 size. Whereas the ones you saw that, again, that Tom Hines was significant in, you know, they were in the millions. The ones we've achieved over the last year, from say 100,000 up to a couple million per project. So I would say that the size of the results that we've gotten so far have been almost an order of magnitude larger. And to me, that's a speed issue too. The speed of implementation is faster with QualPro. They may eventually get to saving $1 to $2 million, but there's a tremendous amount of training that's going on in that site right now, which we didn't have to go through to achieve very big results.